there's one person in this connection that missed the lesson. Hello, beautiful human. Welcome to your Scorpio Bae Cross Watchers Only reading. I am Princess India. If you're new, I love how this just keeps happening. And if you're family, welcome back, my friend. So if you're not familiar of what this reading is, it is a reading that I do for people who want to lurk on, a particular sign that they're dating or seeing or what have you. You know what I'm saying? So this can resonate with Scorpios. I know with the Libra one, a lot of Libras felt as if it resonated with them. And since I started doing these, a lot of people have said in the comments that, if you're actually the sign that I'm doing and you watch it, it can resonate. But my intention is to read for a cross watcher looking at a Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio and you resonate, then, it can be flippy floppy. So anywho, I'm going to go ahead and see what is going on with you and your Scorpio person of interest, just to give you some insight to help you out, my friend, my wonderful cross watcher. So let's see. First card we have is the Nine of Pentacles. That's my independent woman, independent man card. And then we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse. Okay. Interesting. And we have the Tower in the reverse, and that's Mars energy, that's Scorpio energy. This is interesting. Okay, so my cross watcher person, you guys are in a good place right now. This is completely unrelated to this connection that you have with this person, but this looks more or less to me like you guys' work life. Why that would be coming up in a cross watchers only reading, but Princess is here for it. So it looks like, aside from this connection that you have with the Scorpio person, legit, like you guys have just been focusing on work. What I really would say is, if I were to put all of this together, this would look to me like a person who, I don't know, maybe you are an entrepreneur, but it's more or less you were having issues with the Scorpio person and you decided to channel your time, effort, energy, attention, whatever, into work. And that inadvertent, dude, this is about to be so weird. Okay. So you channeled all your time, energy, and effort into work, right? When things went awry with the Scorpio person. And that inadvertently, and this is going to sound so heavy, like healed you, right? But what I really want to say, this really looks to me like objectivity, because it's more or less it was very difficult for you to make sense out of the situation while you were in the situation. But the moment that and this is how you transmute energy in a very practical way, if you didn't know, my cross watcher friend. So it's more or less, and this is me kind of pulling from energy that's kind of like past tense, so probably like, September-ish. It's more or less that you guys were very wrapped up in this situation, and the only thing, it's almost like a desire for consistency or stability or something along those lines. So it's more or less taking your energy and channeling it into your work, your money, like creating stability in your life in so many words. But the irony is that it inadvertently freed you because it gave you objectivity. Now, when I say this is a practical way to transmute energy, I mean just that, in the sense that whenever you find yourself in a situation and you feel like you're kind of overwhelmed by what it is that you're dealing with or what you're going through, a very practical way to transmute energy would be to do the polar opposite, or to channel your energy into something else. You know what I mean? And kind of like combat the energy. So if you are confused, right, and things are kind of all over the place, you would combat that confusion with clarity. So you would go to a person or, a place or a state in your life where you feel a sense of control. And I'm really feeling that's what my cross watchers did. So more or less, this inadvertently put you in a place to where you got reattuned with your emotions and you got out of your mind, because I feel it's more or less like, you guys are just in a place of legit, like, I don't think I could say it any better way, but it's literally like confusion. You know what I'm saying? So with the Tower being in the reverse, it's more or less like dodging a bullet, if that makes sense. But I feel for you all, it's like you didn't see it that way. Because I would even go as far as to say that, because I always like to look at the Tower, like with, you know, the people who are falling out. I like to look at that as like the emperor and the empress, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, I guess I could say this too, like if this is a Scorpio person that's watching it, this is more or less like an F it all type of energy, which by default married the two facets that you have of yourself. But the whole premise of what it is that I'm seeing here is it's being freed from a mental prison. I feel where you guys were, you could not see the forest for the trees. So it was kind of being in this situation and just this chaotic feeling of not really knowing what was next. But whatever it is that you guys did, whatever it is that you've been focusing on, that I can't say may or may not be bearing fruit, because I think that's so funny. This sounds so work oriented to me. It's something in you guys' lives that's going well, that is aside from this relationship, partnership, situationship, entanglement, whatever it is that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, but it's something that's working out for you. And now I feel you guys are able to see clearly. And I feel soon enough, it's more or less taking this step back and not engaging with this. It's like, I feel you guys are soon enough going to start to see how you inadvertently dodged a bullet. And that sounds so bad saying that, but hey, I just read the cards, you know what I'm saying? So anywho, the next card is the Nine of Cups. Wow, that's 2 nines. It's very fascinating. And then we have the Judgment in the reverse, and that's Pisces energy. And then we have the Six of Swords. This is interesting. So here's the deal with your Scorpio person, and I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this. With your Scorpio person, it more or less looks that how they see you, or the way that they felt about this. Oh man, that's like a whole nother message that I'm getting here. Oh man. It's like with them, it's them feeling that it's like wish fulfillment. I feel that there's like an element here of I don't know what you do, cross watcher, but it's some element of, I don't want to say pride, but it kind of is that. Maybe it's just like, I don't want to say like pride, like narcissistic pride or nothing like that, but it's almost as if, how can I say this? I don't want to say that the person fully lived vicariously through you, but I want to say that it's not to say that you're not an amazing person. It's like, it's a wish granted for them, but it's just the vibe I'm getting with this is it's for different reasons than it usually would be. So I don't know. I don't know what the dichotomy is between the two of you, but it more or less feels like this gave this person some sense of worth or value or self-esteem or, you know, something along those lines. But with this Judgment in the reverse, this is where things kind of transition, because I feel for my cross watcher people, it's an element of you guys. It's like order amongst chaos. So it's order amongst chaos in the sense that where you guys were, where you are now, and this is me totally just like picking up on vibes again, like I said, that aren't here, like what led us to this point. It's more or less that you guys focusing on whatever it was, but it's of course something tangible. It's almost like this is your saving grace in a sense. So it's kind of like, if I were to say my cross watcher people are like freed, right? And with the Scorpio person you were dealing with, it's an element of stuckness, you know? And I feel that's really because of what I'm picking up in this Nine of Cups. It's like, it's not to say that they don't really care about you, but there's just this whole element here to me of, I don't even know how I would even say that. It's just, I don't know. The best way I could say it is like, the person lived vicariously through you, like you symbolize something for them or what have you. However, with the judgment being in the reverse, at present, my cross-watcher people have been set free. So it's like you guys are pretty clear on what the situation is, where you are, what you're doing type of deal. But with your Scorpio person, not so much. It's almost like there's a lack of understanding for them, or they really didn't, like they really don't. It's all okay. If I were to say it like this, it would almost be like if there was a spiritual lesson that was to be learned, it's like my cross-watcher people got it, the Scorpio person missed it. Like they missed the boat. But the whole purpose of the lesson, more or less, was to be able to start afresh and for there to be a sense of transformation or rebirth. And I would say not just with a Scorpio person, but both of you. So what this kind of looks like to me is more or less like a karmic-y kind of connection, you know what I mean? And I feel with this tower in the reverse, it's more or less like a foretelling. So it's kind of like how things panned out up until this point. It's more or less if however things transpired up to this point, if they did not, like if you guys didn't cool your heels, if you will, I feel like with the tower, that's ultimately where things would have ended up. But it's like there's some element of something that happened here that kind of stopped the forward mobility of this. So with my cross-watcher person, you taking a step back, internalizing and focusing on yourself and wanting something that's more tangible and putting energy into that, you transmute your energy, you open up your mind, and now that you're clear, you're able to see this. However, with your Scorpio person, they don't. But here's the catch-22 with this, is with the Six of Swords, it's like even if this person didn't get it, even if they don't go through their rebirth and their transformation, it's like things are still moving forward anyway. And my assumption would be just because they have to, like it's one of those things where if you miss the boat this time around, it's like they just would have to catch another one, in so many words. But with them, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're being forced. What's at the bottom of the deck? The Hermit. So like, oh gosh. And then the World card and Saturn energy is at the bottom of the deck. And of course, the Hermit is Virgo energy. I don't know if I said that. This is fascinating. Yeah, man, it's almost like I feel for both of you. For both of you, this was an opportunity to learn something pretty epic. I do feel the two of you were partners in this. But I mean, and I say with the Six of Swords being here, I mean, if you guys in any way were concerned about this person, there's no cause for concern, if you will, because even if they kind of miss the boat with this lesson and don't quite get it as of yet, it's like this bullet was dodged for both of you. Because I really feel like legit, dude, this could have ended up being a lot worse than it was if things would have stayed like on this path. And I mean, some of y'all might feel some type of way about this, but with the Six of Swords, for me, it's more or less saying that not just them, I feel both of you are going to, you know, a more calmer waters, if you will. It's like the tumultuous energy that existed in this connection, it's leaving that behind and going to something that's a little bit more grounded and stable. And I could even go as far as saying for those of you that are still connected with this person, because it's almost like two different ways I'm seeing it. It's like there's some of you where you're still connected with this person. There's others of you where you guys may not even speak to this person anymore. But I feel it's a very valuable lesson of stability, security, emotional regulation, all that good stuff. But with this Virgo being, this Virgo, did I really just say with this Virgo? I was about to say with this Virgo at the bottom of your deck. I mean, with this Hermit at the bottom of your deck. what this is really saying, which I would have to say my cross watcher people did, is more or less going within and really kind of facing yourself and getting clear on who you are, where you are, what you're doing type of deal. And I feel for my cross watcher people, and of course, if you're a Scorpio watching this, you guys can flip flop it. But, and even with these nines, dude, that's what's so ironic. It's like, it's a culmination of a cycle, but it's like, I feel all of this was an okie doke to kind of, and I really heavily feel both people were offered this opportunity. It's more or less, this was something divinely orchestrated to get the two of you to get to this place with the Hermit card. It's like the whole purpose of it was to get you to look within yourself and to find your clarity, your light, your truth, and what it is that you really want. But it's almost as if the two of you would have never crossed paths, that wouldn't have happened, in so many words. But like I said, I'm looking at this Eight of Swords and the reverse from a cross watchers and this Judgment. I just can't get past that, where I feel your Scorpio person kind of missed the boat on this. But the only reason why that would be is because of them not going within to do their own psychological reflection, you know, self-examination, all of that stuff. So it's not understanding the connection, if that's making sense. The next cards we have is the Five of Wands in the reverse. Then we have the Four of Swords, and we have, wow, the Five of Swords in the reverse. Dude, this is almost like whatever type of conflict there was, whatever kind of fighting there was, and this is so ironic to me how this is looking, it's almost as if it's been snuffed out, if you will, or neutralized, if you will. That's wild. And with this Four of Swords here, that's speaking back to this Hermit card, which is more or less, I don't like, we could look at it two different ways. We can say that more or less the two of you are both going into a time to where you're going to be in a very solitary energy. You know what I mean? Like just kind of isolated from people and just kind of really focusing on yourself, best case scenario. You know what I mean? Or this could really be speaking to this element of aloneness, meaning that the two of you are going your separate ways, because that's at present. But there's still this element to me of not getting it. It's like there's still someone here that's not getting it. And I could even say that it depends on where you are, cross watcher, because I mean, I could say the same for you guys too, where now you have this mental clarity. So it's almost, and this would be the scenario of how this would work. This would be like a person who, like I say, karmic relationship, whatever. Like this would be something where you felt like this person was your soulmate, right? And despite the way that stuff was, is, whatever, it's this self-imposed prison. So feeling as if you have to be with this person despite their less than stellar behavior type of deal. You know what I mean? And this would more or less be like a divine intervention kind of thing where you're set free from a situation, you dodged a bullet, you're going to something that's more stable and something that gives you more peace of mind. And like this conflict was snuffed out because that's really what was at the root of this. And the whole purpose of this conflict or this just unrest, instability with this connection, the whole purpose of it was trying to get you to go within, but you still weren't doing that. So it's kind of like misjudging the situation, if you will. And I could even go as far as to say that it's not just this situation. It could be prior situations that you've been in as well, to where this is kind of like a pattern type of thing, where you get into these connections with people and it's like you miss the lesson. It's like it's fixating too much on the person or what didn't work out, and like internalizing it and making it about you, and like you could have did stuff different. And it's like getting so caught up into that that you completely miss what the lesson was in the first place, type of deal. That's kind of like the vibe that I get. And then something else I'm hearing is that for some of you, it could be a lesson that's continually missed out on because it's not seeing things to fruition. So it's more or less like you get into a connection with someone, the first sign of conflict or unrest, it's like you're out of there. And it's like, this would still be if that were the situation with a person. And this is not saying that you should not leave people that are horrible, cretins, you know what I'm saying? But meaning like, I wouldn't even go as far as saying someone who's non-committal, because that would be more or less how someone outside of you would probably define your behavior. But it's just whenever there's some sense of conflict or unrest, it's never wanting to work through it, because it's this thought of protecting oneself from, shitty people, right? So it's like you're trying to protect yourself from shitty people. However, it's because not seeing things through to fruition, you never learned the lessons. So it's like you're repeating the same thing over and over again. So it would feel like you keep dating the same person in different bodies almost. But the energy I feel with this is it's more or less being kind of pushed forward, so that's a lot of different scenarios within one. But the whole thing is that there's one person in this connection that missed the lesson. You know what I'm saying? It was an opportunity that's being offered for rebirth. And there's one person who missed it. There's the potential for two people that missed it, because it would be fixating too much on what went awry and not seeing what it is that this connection brought out of you. But what would be required in order to see that, because it's literally like being delivered. I'm not even fronting. Like, what would be required is to go within and to do a little bit of soul searching and using your wisdom and your intuition to navigate the situation and to really hear what spirit is saying in so many words, in order to get clarity on this partnership or this situation. But it's like, just looking at these two, the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands, dude, like this is all conflicting energy. And just seeing that at the foundation of your spread, that's saying to me that this existing here, whether it's in this connection or any other one, it's like the unrest is like a wake-up call, like saying, hey, you need to pay attention to this type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like a foreteller of that tower energy. But just going back to my first scenario, and if we were to just stay really like didactic with it, it's my cross watcher person more or less is gaining clarity now to see the situation that they were really in. You know what I'm saying? And that's where that dodge the bullet vibe comes in. And with this person, it's more or less the Scorpio person you'd be cross watching for. They kind of missed it. But whatever the case, everybody's moving forward. Even though any remnants, I want to say, of inner conflict from this situation, and I can say this for you too, cross watcher, it's like, if you're still conflicted about this, like you're still feeling a way about this, or if this is your Scorpio person that's still feeling a way about this, what it's more or less saying is that there's a need to go within yourself, spend some time alone to really reflect on this situation, or bring another person in if you need a little objectivity, because the root of the inner conflict of not understanding this is having missed what the whole purpose of this was. And there was a grander purpose and why this connection existed in the first place, if that makes sense. So this isn't one of those things like how sometimes people say like, oh, this person was like the worst mistake, or you know what I'm saying? It's not that. It's like, this was a very valuable lesson that two people were intended to learn. But if there's any conflict that still exists when you've moved forward, and I think it would be very clear to people around you that you dodged a bullet and things of the sort, then that means that there's a lack thereof of understanding the lesson within itself. And that's going to require some self-examination in order to see that, and self-honesty to see that that pattern that shows up in one's relationships. And I have another thing to say. Another thing I have to say is, regardless of what side that you're on, whether you're a Scorpio person watching this or you're cross watching for a Scorpio person, I have to say that on one end, there was seeking financial stability. So this would be like a person who doesn't trust in their own ability to like make money and be stable or be successful or what have you. And that kind of piggybacks into this 9 of Cups, which is like this vicarious, living vicariously through a partner. You know what I mean? Like only dating successful people. So it's like you're sort of kind of successful by default, if that makes sense. But there's something important to that, because I feel, this is so interesting, I might answer a lot of y'all's question right here. Looking at this 9 of Pentacles and this 9 of Cups and this 5 of Wands here in the reverse, what this is saying to me is that these are two people that are mirror reflections of each other. And if there is any judgment here in the sense of how you perceive that person, what I am hearing is that you're judging yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You're kind of judging yourself a little bit, because it's almost, and this is going to be a strong word, but I'm using the word ulterior motive, right? Because it's almost like whatever it is that the cross watcher or the Scorpio person felt was lacking in them, they perceived the other person to have it. And it's almost like on both ends, there was this whole vicarious thing. And then again, going to the premise of why this happened, like why the two of you connected, and to get clarity on what the lesson was, like what you were supposed to learn, is more or less of underestimating yourself. And I feel like it's different for each person. So it was something different that each person was trying to get from the other. Some of you, it was like external stuff, so like finances, like clout, like whatever. Then on the other side, it's like emotional validation, or, you know, like a little codependency vibes and things of the sort. Confidence, like all of those different elements. So it's two opposites of what the other person was trying to get from the other. And don't get alarmed, because this feels more like subconscious to me. Like it's almost like, you know, because you date people or you're attracted to people that remind you of yourself, but we just don't be aware that they remind us of ourselves. And there's even like a whole scientific study on that, of like how people date people that have similar facial structures to them, but that's neither here nor there. But the whole premise of this was for you guys to come into your power, whether it's both of you or just one of you, which one of y'all is watching me right now. And that would be the lesson that would be being missed by whoever it is that's missing it. It's you don't or didn't recognize your own power, right? So you were looking for someone or drawn to people who represent something that you already are, but it's like you're not aware of that. So it's like if there's somebody who got buku money and you only date people that got buku money that are like entrepreneurs and stuff, and you broke and you don't own no business or nothing, the reason why you're drawn to people like that is because that's been Spirit's way of trying to tell you that you have the potential in you to make a lot of money. You have the potential in you to own your own business. And that's why you're drawn to these people. But the reason why it doesn't work out is because the connection played its purpose. It's just the lesson was being missed. So you'll continuously meet the same type of person over and over again because you're attracted to these type of people. But the whole thing I'm saying to you now is the need for you to see that connection I just made, if that's making sense. Like these relationships aren't working out because they're not supposed to. Not just this one, but anyone prior, they weren't supposed to. That person just played a role to show you something about yourself. But my first scenario is that cross watcher see that Scorpio person doesn't, but you know, it could be flip-flopped. Maybe cross watcher don't see it and Scorpio does. I don't know your life, cross watcher. But anywho, that's been your reading, my friend. I'm going over to Vimeo on my website, Patreon and YouTube members to do you guys extended, where we're looking at how this person thinks and feels about you at present. So if you're about that life, my friend, follow me on over there. But if not, I still love your face. I will see you guys soon later. You know what I'm saying? Love your face.